following 8-minute video documents Remo Campo Piano's 1989 installation at the Liszt Visual Arts Center at MIT. Campo Piano's plan was to approach this 3-month residency without a plan, that is, not preconceived. The installation was to grow out of Campo Piano's experience of being at MIT. An invitation was immediately sent out inviting professors, students, and members of the Cambridge community to come by, observe the colony of ants, and, to quote from the invitation, chat with me about what you do, what I do, and life as we each live it.
I didn't realize how effective that invitation would be. I ended up spending half my time talking with visitors, which greatly affected how the installation developed.
To structure this visual investigation into spiritual matters, Campo Piano borrowed medicine wheel symbolism from Native American culture.
The medicine wheel is how American Indians taught their children about life. It became the basis for their spirituality. They draw a circle on the ground and identify the 4 directions in preparation for the medicine dance.
According to Indian folklore, you enter the medicine wheel from the south, the place of innocence and birth. The west is the realm of the heart, emotions and feelings. The east represents matters of the mind, the intellectual side of life. The north is the balance between the mind and the heart, or wisdom. Campo Piano used this conceptual format to lay out the room. The entrance to the installation became the south. Here, the viewer confronts one of the 4 gray boxes, which, according to the artist, represents what we don't know, or mystery. Moving around the room clockwise, we begin in the southwest and the instinct to create life. Whether you see the blue wires as blood vessels, neurons, or lightning, this section refers to either the birth of a child or the creation of the cosmos. In the west, the bed represents matters of the heart.
I was looking for something to represent the emotional side of life. The bed was perfect. It conjured up images of sex, birth, death, all matters of the heart. The mice, once you get over the mild shock of seeing 52 mice in the bed springs, actually acts out these matters of the heart.
Moving past the northern mountains for a moment, we come to the east and matters of the mind. Here, Campo Piano builds a high-tech cathedral to science.
This side is about the beauty and inventiveness of the human mind. I really love the thought of returning to beauty as an artistic concept.
Back in the north, the mountains represent wisdom and spiritual attainment. In Indian culture, the north is the place of balance between the mind and heart. Looking again to the west and matters of the heart, we see how all the different elements are integrated. The blue wires encroach upon the still, which drips clean water into the bed for the mice to drink. The white land masses tie together the different settings as they enhance the sense of circularity.
I had to find a way of turning a square room into a circle to create the sense of moving around the medicine wheel.
On the other side of the room, the placement of the tubes echoes this circularity.
Once I had all the elements in place, the task became to make connections. This is really what a sculptor does, that is, make connections. The connections become the dance of the medicine wheel.
I asked the artist what the mice had to do with all of this.
I first got the idea while talking to a visitor knowledgeable about Indian folklore. It seems there's an Indian story of a myopic mouse that can only understand what is right in front of his nose. That is, what he can feel with his whiskers. The story is about his journey to the top of the mountain in order to see the big picture.
To illustrate the story of the mouse, Campo Piano made it possible for the mice to enter the mountain through plexi tubes. Many of them nested in the 2 caves in the mountain. The adventurous ones traveled all the way up the flue-like structure to the lookout at the top of the northern peak. Another way of making connections has to do with the recycling of emotions. When Campopiano prepared the bed springs for the mice, he added over 50 old photographs. The photos came from the Olson family's photo album from around the turn of the century. The mice wasted no time in tearing up the photos, making nests for the many babies to be born during the exhibition. The only photo left at the end of the show was the one reserved for the high chair. This, Campopiano admits, is the most personal element in the show.
The more I thought about what it means to fully experience the emotional side of life, the more I thought about family and children. One of the most positive feelings comes from the most basic human event, the creation of a family.
Above the high chair, the blue wires are connected to a model railroad suspended from the ceiling. The train circles the entire room, touching all aspects of the installation, actually bringing movement to the medicine wheel dance. The train, with a laser for a caboose, begins its trek from just above the distillery. It travels through the northwest mountain peak and through the mouse lookout. As the train passes the second glass tube, a relay shuts off the lights, giving the laser light more visibility. The red laser beam projects backward from the rear of the train. As the beam intersects a small mirror, it shoots red laser light down the tubes to illuminate the aeration bubbles and the fish. The medical cart in the center of the tubes adds to the high-tech feel of the East while it serves a practical function. It contains life support systems such as water testing apparatus and food for all the animals. The mirror has more to do with the bridging of mind and heart.
I first wanted the mirror to go over the bed, but it only looked good between the tubes. The contrast was too powerful to resist. Now the problem was why. The answer I found in the old Eastern cosmology for yin and yang. The mirror became the dot from its opposite, a little bit of the West in the East. Now I needed a little bit of the high-tech in the West. That's how the still got into the show.
I asked Campopiano why the boiling water looked like blood.
It's sort of a reversal of the old water into wine trick.
I also wondered about the boxes. If they represent what we don't know, why do they get larger as you move into the exhibition?
The more I talked with visitors, the more a new observation developed. When you enter life, everything is unknown and scary. Therefore, the boxes confront you directly, obscuring your view. As you move through life, the mystery gets larger but less menacing, therefore further away.
In the center of the gallery, or should we say the center of the medicine wheel, sits a large dish-like table. The table is layered with sand and is inhabited by a colony of 500 red ants. It's a very seductive situation. You can't help feeling godlike while looking over this other world. Combined with the soothing effect of the bubbling water, the constant random movement of the ants does have a tranquilizing, almost hypnotic effect on the viewer.
The table is what this show is really all about. It's about balance. The symbiotic relationship these ants have with their landscape creates a feeling of balance in nature, a lesson to be learned from Native American culture.